you want it, you got it. Reality radio done right. No nonsense, real and raw, just like you like it.
He's corrupt, he's inexperienced, and he lies.
Broadcasting from a broom closet in the Arizona Lotus Studios, it's Beef Vegan Presents.
Yo, welcome back to the show. It's Beef Vegan Presents live on independent radio, KidofSS 93.9, streaming worldwide at KidofSS.org. My name is Beef Vegan, the media in Phoenician, speaking to you through your speakers. Joining me today is Mari. Good afternoon, Mari.
Good afternoon.
And greetings of streamers on our podcast broadcast. We are live and on KidofSS as we open up the show today. We have a lot to cover in the podcast broadcast with film critic Herb Stratford coming in. We're also going to talk about the greatest vampire movie of all time, some haunted Halloween stories, right? Like the top haunted hotels in the U.S. and ghosts that forced the Los Angeles Dodgers star to switch hotels.
Oh,
Yes. So we'll be talking about that here shortly. But our top story is just a rant that I did a little bit ago where I'm talking about how I believe the Super Bowl effed up and it's not political.
yes.
Yeah. Because, and I won Mari over with this argument,
You
but
did.
I believe that Bad Bunny should not be performing at the Super Bowl for the halftime this year. And it's not because I have anything against Bad Bunny. I'm actually a fan of Bad Bunny, and I love what he brings to the table. Bad Bunny actually performed at the Super Bowl just a few years ago with like Shakira and stuff, not as the main headliner.
He did.
Yes, in Miami, which
Okay.
made sense. For a minute there, just a minute, it looked like the Super Bowl was going to honor artists within that region, right? And this was spotlighted when Dr. Dre was the Super Bowl halftime performer when the Super Bowl was held in Los Angeles. Now, Jay-Z is a major part of the Super Bowl booking committee. He's the man responsible for getting the artists for the Super Bowl.
Correct.
Right? Last year, a lot of people feel like he dropped the ball by booking Kendrick Lamar, who was red hot at the time, over Lil Wayne in New Orleans, right? Then, the year before that in Las Vegas, he booked Usher for zero reason whatsoever.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it came out in 2004?
Yeah, that's the only one I
Right.
know.
Right. Now, Yaz was excited about that, but that was pretty much it, right?
True.
And, then I was thinking, I was like, well, who represents Las Vegas? Who's from Las Vegas? Oh, the Killers. The Killers would have been fantastic for a Super Bowl
Amazing.
halftime show. Snubbed, right?
Yes.
Well, this year's Super Bowl is in the Bay Area. It's San Francisco.
Mhm.
And who's a massive musical act from San Francisco? Only one band you may have heard of, Metallica.
Yes.
And you know what? I have a feeling that Metallica really wanted this. I've heard different interviews in the past of Metallica saying they would love to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show. So I feel like they may even lobbied for the opportunity to be a part of a historic performers club that is performing at the Super Bowl in their own backyard, representing the Bay Area. Right? And instead of that, we went Bad Bunny. And okay, if the goal is to make a polarizing decision to have us talk about it for 8 months before the Super Bowl because, people are fighting over it and coming up with stupid, obscure, workarounds, like the Turning Point saying we're going to have our own halftime show, then, mission accomplished, okay? If your goal is to troll us into hating each other, hating and fighting and bitching about it, that it advertises the Super Bowl for 8 months, again, you did a good job. But if the goal is actually doing your job and, booking an act that would undeniably represent the area that is good, the Super Bowl is being held in, and also, have an iconic act that's going to, be able to satisfy the majority of the audience. Even people who aren't Metallica fans can appreciate and respect the fact that Metallica are legends.
Legends. Yeah, you convinced me. I would love to see Metallica. What do you think about Metallica Bad Bunny mashup?
Well, yeah, that'd be great too. And, I think they're about it as well. Another thing about Metallica is great is that they don't necessarily wear their politics on their sleeves. There's 4 of them in there. And statistically speaking, half of them voted one way, half of them voted the other way. They're a representation of America.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another good thing, right? And another argument, just to put the cherry on top, Bad Bunny is a young man. An artist that's not going anywhere anytime soon, right? You have plenty of years to be able to put Bad Bunny on the national stage, international stage. That is the Super Bowl. right? And especially if it was like, I don't know, back in Miami or Florida, which they are going to have Super Bowls in Florida here again soon. So it's a missed opportunity. It is Jay-Z doing whatever Jay-Z does. But Jay-Z jumped the shark. I'm over it. He hasn't been a great artist. Now he's just a billionaire who's out of touch. And they effed up the Super Bowl 100%. And that's what I feel like is the hill I'm willing to die on today.
Yeah, and I think that's a valid hill.
Thank you. Thank you. And good. I got people agreeing with me on the stream. That's good. Because there was a petition the other day where it was so stupid. You'll see this stuff online, like George Strait. We should have George Strait on the Super Bowl. Like 1,000 people or 10,000 people signed that. That's ridiculous. Nobody wants to hear and watch George Strait, who's like 80 years old, perform at the Super Bowl. There was a mock-up Turning Point halftime show where the Kid Rock was headlining it. That was fake, but nobody wants that either, right?
No.
Honestly, the best way that would have been, non-controversial, where everyone's just like, oh yeah, that makes sense, is if they would have gave the band who wanted this opportunity almost their entire career and gave them that opportunity. Now I don't think this opportunity is going to come around again. And if it did, I think they would pass on it, so our chance to see Metallica perform at the Super Bowl halftime is ruined because Jay-Z wanted to create some political buzz, maybe, or some bad press. And I'm upset about that. And so I just want to, I want to just throw out the name in the conversation that I have not been hearing. I've been hearing a lot of names as to, who would be better. Well, you guys are missing the obvious. The obvious was Metallica in San Francisco. That's the obvious. That's who should have been performing at the Super Bowl. And that's not what's happening. I'm sure Bad Bunny's going to do great. And it's still going to be a fun halftime show. But again, doesn't represent the Bay Area. All right, so we're going to have a great show here. So keep it here all afternoon long. Speedfeaker presents on Independent Radio KWSS 93.9. All right, obviously that was a show open for KWSS. I'm multitasking today, guys.
Yes, you are. Great job.
Yeah, and I already bitched about that on the air. You may have heard it. And maybe it was a little bit more passionate. I don't know. I don't know.
You got it, though.
Yeah, thanks.
You got the main vein in.
Yeah, right. I just went back on the air. And what they heard out of your mouth was you got the main vein in.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah. Text your husband immediately and be like, tell him to watch the podcast and scroll back a little bit so there's some context there. Because I don't want anyone like weird thoughts, okay?
I think it makes sense.
Well, what I call the main vein.
What?
The main vein.
It really?
Yeah.
That's not a vein.
Yeah. It is. And if you drain the main vein, you drain the main vein. If it rhymes, it's true. But how many times did I tell you that?
That doesn't come out of veins, though.
Yeah, it's like a hose.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, it is. I know it makes sense. Every guy that has a schlong knows it makes sense. There's one main vein that's on there, and there's a whole bunch of other veins. Some people more veiny than others, but the point is the main vein. That's where all the fun comes from.
Wow.
So yeah.
News to me.
Yeah.
Had never heard that.
So when you say I got the main vein in, maybe I'm dirty.
Yes, you are. That's been established.
Okay, good.
That's not news.
All right. But, well, you know what? We are live on the podcast broadcast. So if you want to join the conversation and also either back me up or tell me I'm being absurd, please let me know. We'll do like a streamer poll right now. I mean, did it sound inadvertently dirty? You got the main vein in?
No.
No. You got the main vein in? I don't know, Mari. All right. Well, coming up next here on Beef Vegan Presents, there was a Los Angeles Dodgers player that demanded that he switch hotels because his was haunted. We're going to talk about that and also give you the top haunted hotels in the U.S. And then after, film critic Herb Stratford is going to be joining us. So keep it right here. It's Rock 102.1 KFMA. Be back with that list after new music from Bad Omens. Here's Spectre on Rock 102.1. I'm pretty sure. I mean, again, to the stream. The main vein. Have you ever heard main vein before in the context of meaning the peen?
Everyone said yes.
Everyone said yes.
Yeah.
100%. Thank you. But you know what? Y'all my people.
I have never heard it like that.
Well, I mean, I think you have. I think it fell on deaf ears. Oh, you block it out. See, look at it. Even David on the stream, everybody. Yeah, so.
What do you think is the main vein in your body, though? The jugular, right?
Yeah. There's definitely like scientific and biological main veins, but they're not as coveted as the penile main vein.
No.
There's one main vein because, well, again, I mean, I don't want to have to break it down like it's biology class, but there's plenty of veins that make up a deal there, and there's one big one, and that's the main one. And
That's
so
your urethra, though.
Yeah, technically. Yeah, if
vein.
you want to be technical about it. But, doesn't it sound cool to say I'm going to drain the main vein?
No, it doesn't.
It does. I like when you rhyme.
I mean, it rhymes.
You're so against rhyming,
I guess I am.
Yeah.
I love your alliteration.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, and what part? What's the example?
Well, like, what's a... I don't know.
Oh, Patrick thinks it sounds gross. And you know what? If it sounds gross to Patrick and he's a fan of peen, then maybe it does. So I don't say it often, but it is fun to say. It's something I definitely now it's top of mind. I'll definitely say it this weekend when I go to the bathroom. I'll tell somebody I got to go drain the main vein.
I'm so glad I don't have one.
Oh, I know. Because it would make it super awkward for your husband.
So awkward.
Hey, did you hear about the story about the baby, the 13-pound baby that was born?
Yeah, it broke records.
Yes, broke records. Now, we joked about it on the podcast, I think yesterday or the day before, and somebody commented more on the story because initially I went the joking route. I knew the whole story. I read it, and Kendall reported on it, and she didn't get to the part where it was a C-section, and it was obviously a C-section,
absolutely.
right? Because at that point, it would have been the huge record if she was able to pass a 13-pound baby through there. But man, imagine the amount of stitches she would have to get after that, huh?
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had 2 C-sections.
It's like, I'm glad you like that, Patrick. Sorry. I was being as respectful as possible.
So respectful.
Well, you're a fan of the peen, right? You look at one and you're like, not bad. Is that a good way to say it? No?
I don't know. Ask Patrick. What do you think is a good way to say it?
Well, I mean, he would just say gay, dude, and like, yeah, for sure. Just say gay. But at the same time, another smooth way to say it is the guy's a fan of male penis. Okay. I'm stumped. Yeah, help me out, Patrick. A fan of the peen, I thought was a good way, Yeah. Phantom of the peen.
Phantom?
I'm spitballing here, Maury.
Okay.
All right. Todd, I showed up beef saying, just say gay. I have no context. You don't need context. That's the great thing about this Friday show.
Hi, Todd.
Rockland 2.1 Cab, man. Welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. Let's talk spooky tales for Halloween, huh? You love that?
Yes.
Okay, so our top story today is about the Los Angeles Dodgers star who demanded that he switch hotels because of ghosts. Yeah, this was during their visit to Milwaukee. Los Angeles star outfielder, Teoscar? I'm sorry, I'm not familiar. Hernandez made the move to a different hotel due to his fear of ghosts. In a press conference, Hernandez said that he's not the one buying into the spook show of the Pfister Hotel. Well, that's what it's called, Pfister, but with a P. The P is silent, much like my last name, actually. But his wife is making the trip, and he says she is. So he basically pawned it off on his wife. Like, look, I ain't afraid of no ghosts. But this chick here, terrified.
Yeah, that's a lie.
Yeah.
He's scared.
You know it.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah. Now, okay. That's what he said. People are like, okay, whatever. They didn't want to get into it. Now, the Pfister Hotel itself has a rich history of spooking ball players and has even been called baseball's most haunted hotel. Charles Pfister opened up the hotel in 1893, and over the years, multiple ball players have reported seeing apparitions of Pfister roaming the staircase and the sound of knocking and pounding, plus electronics turning on and off, and objects moving.
That's cool.
Yeah, now this is a major league baseball team, right? And going to Milwaukee, does Milwaukee not have any other newer hotel options?
Yeah, why do they stay there?
Right. They're like, oh, yeah, we have the playoffs. Cool. Let's get our boys comfortable in the oldest hotel in the region.
That's random.
Is there anything over a century old? Yeah, that's cool.
Maybe
yeah.
it helps their game though to be spooked. Like they're on edge and like they play faster and stronger and
You might be onto something there.
Mhm.
Sports, there's a lot of superstitions involved in sports and gambling. So, but Hernandez's wife, she's not playing. She don't care about those superstitions.
Uh-oh.
And he says that she reported seeing lights in some rooms go on and off. And apparently she also experienced noises from the doors and heard footsteps. Now, these are baseball players, so how is she sure it's not like somebody's mistress kind of tiptoeing through the hallways trying not to get caught?
Right.
Different kind of host.
Yeah, she didn't see
Or
anything
ghost.
fly through the room.
That's true, right? Well, Hernandez kept a smile about it, making it clear that he's not the one saying he's experienced that before, right? Again, that's a weird way to gaslight your wife. Like, I didn't see it.
It's this girl.
This chick. Cuckoo. But you see the rump on her? I'd let it go. Yeah, and he doesn't think he's going to either. So massive gaslighting, but it all begs the question, of like local places people avoid because of firsthand haunting experience. Now, I do have a list of the top haunted hotels in the U.S., and Hotel Congress isn't one of them.
No.
In fact, actually, Stephanie on the stream was like, don't even bother because Hotel Congress is not haunted enough to even be considered. These are the most haunted hotels in the U.S. that have been around for a long time. We'll start off at 5, work our way up number 1. Number 5, the Alaskan Hotel and Bar at Juneau. The historic Alaskan Hotel and Bar has a storied past, having served as a speakeasy and a brothel.
Okay.
And it was once shut down and even condemned. So there's been several legends that exist about the hotel, including one about room 315. The story goes that the room was found to be covered in blood after a Navy soldier jumped out the window. Right? Now, no one ever found out what was the cause of all that blood in the first place. Suspicious indeed. Now, coming in at number 4 of the most haunted hotels in the U.S., the Farnsworth House Inn in Gettysburg.
Okay, Gettysburg, of course.
Yeah, the streets are lined with blood, right? And it's known for being one of the most haunted places in the country. This Victorian inn has housed everyone from Confederate sharpshooters to curious travelers since the early 1800s. Named after Brig General Elon John Farnsworth, one of the most racist names you'll come across. Leader of the doomed charge of the Battle of Gettysburg. It's a hotel with loads of haunted history with 10 comfortable and highly adorned rooms to choose from. You're welcome to book a stay there and take part in one of their many tours, such as the Haunted Cellar Tour and the Attic Whispers and Cellar Shadows.
Ooh.
Yeah, spooky.
Yeah.
Coming in at number 3 of the most haunted hotels in the U.S., you know about this one, the Queen Mary Ocean Liner.
Yes. Yeah, big boat.
Yeah, big boat.
Big old boat.
Yeah, in Long Beach. Originally launched in 1934, now one of Long Beach's most notable and most haunted hotels. Both visitors and guests can stay at the haunted encounters or graveyard tours or go on the paranormal ship walk and learn about the ghostly residents that call the ship home, while also enjoying the opulent, authentic Art Deco style cabins and amenities. But they say that's haunted as well. Now, here's the top 2 haunted hotels in the U.S. The 886 Crescent Hotel and Spa in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, has been a top destination for Arkansas visitors since the 20th century. Some believe that the property has gained a few ghostly residents over the years, especially considering the fact that the hotel used to be a cancer hospital run by a corrupt con, Dr. Norman Baker. Yeah, and during previous stays, guests have reported slamming doors, rattling furniture in the dead of the night, and even the occasional nurse pushing a gurney down the hallway.
Ooh.
Spooky. So
Very.
weird to see people working in the afterlife.
I know. And they're all like old ghosts. Like, we're the new ghosts,
Yeah, I guess we're
1800s. Like, I want some like aughts ghosts. Like,
Right.
what are they going to do?
And also, what about the ghosts from the 1200s? You know what I mean? You give me some ghosts that are like, 1,000 years old.
Egyptian ghosts?
Yeah. Show me a monk.
A real mummy.
Yeah, real mummy. But that's not going to happen. But here's the number 1 most haunted hotel in the U.S. According to this list put together by USA Today, it's the Fainting Goat Island Inn in Nicholas, New York. It's a former railroad hotel built in the 1800s. Again,
I know, 1800s.
I know.
They just trapped them all, I guess.
I guess, yeah. I guess we lucked out. That has reported numerous ghostly encounters, like being woken in the night by voices or seeing two women sitting for tea in the fainting room. Others have reported hearing footsteps on the staircase that doesn't exist, and finding a child-sized chair that has somehow moved next to the bed in the Nubian room.
Oh, pesky little kids.
Yeah, so if you want to go on like a haunted tour and stay at those hotels, those are the top 5 hotels. USA Today put together the list, and you can literally book yourself a scarecation.
Ooh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Would you do it?
I mean, no. I'd rather stay at like a Four Seasons, dude.
With a pool.
Yeah. What has a lazy river? I want to be the ghost floating in a lazy river with a cocktail in my hand. All right. We're live on a podcast broadcast. You can join us youtube.com/beefvegan, but we got music on the way from STP and Buckcherry on Rock 102.1 KFMA. Yeah, I'm like, screw that, right?
No, I used to try to trap ghosts on camera when I was a little angsty teen. Take all the photos, try to catch an orb.
Right.
So emo.
Oh, yeah. That's good. I'm glad you're not offended there, Patrick, because obviously no offense intended. Let's see. You guys going to the prof show? You say prof or proof? I thought I saw that comment. Prof is going to be performing at the Rialto on Saturday. It's a show I wanted to go, but I'm going to be at the Roadrunners game all day. There's just no way that I'm going to have the energy for that. But he's fantastic. All right. Let's see. Now, today we weren't filming a lot of stuff, which is great. We're just having fun, recording a bunch, getting things ready for the weekend, having a fantastic time together. It's a good quality time.
Always.
We've been having some laughs. So I want to play a clip, a throwback clip, if you will. It's on our YouTube page. And this was the time that Mari and I asked ChatGPT to predict what our futures would be like in 10 years based off what they know about us.
Oh, old.
Yeah, it was fascinating. So let me share that with you in case you forgot or you're new to the podcast broadcast. It went a little something like this. Check it out. And it's paused. All right, so this is what it said. All right, Beef, based on everything I know about you, your grind in radio, your love for comedy, your sharp instincts for pop culture, the way you blend satire with smart, engaging content, here's a real prediction, not a puff piece. This is what it's saying about me.
Not a puff piece. Yeah. I like the details.
Yeah. Where I see you in 10 years. Number 1, nationally syndicated radio or streaming show.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. It says you're too fast, funny, and fearless to stay boxed in one market. Whether it's radio, satellite, or podcasting, you'll be hosting a syndicated morning or late night show that combines live callers, viral absurdity, irreverent interviews, and sketch style bits. Think Howard Stern meets Eric Andre, but still distinctively Beef Vegan presents.
Wow. I like those too.
I mean, right now, I'm like, you my best friend, ChatGPT.
He's so nice.
I swear to God, I'm like, are we trying to date? Oh, because I will date you with this. Number 2, media brand manager. You'll be running your own media production company, not just making shows, but producing your branded content, digital series, and licensing your own segments. You'll own your own IP and have younger creators pitching you their weird ideas. See, now this is where the anxiety starts kicking in because I'm like, the expectations are high, ChatGPT.
Yes.
I don't want to let you down, but this is like a lot.
This is a lot.
Right. Number 3, and it's not done because it
kept going.
It gets bigger. Cultural contributor / satirical voice. You'll be quoted in articles, maybe even showing up on panel shows because your ability to find the comedy in chaos will make you a go-to voice in moments when people need to both laugh and real talk.
Wow.
Hey, the one thing I do provide here to you, Mari, all the time is real talk.
Real talk.
Whether
Realist on the radio.
Whether it's real dumb, real insightful, real crazy, it's real.
It is.
Right? Published author or comedy special. Again, this is like, I don't know, man. I can barely read. So it says either a memoir packed with insane FML stories and career moments, or streaming comedy special that's part stand-up, part sketch, part breakdown of the dumbest news headlines of the decade. I've seen that before. I don't know if I would do that, ChatGPT. I don't want to,
You got the stories, though.
Yeah. And then number 5, still in Arizona, but only part-time. Right? You'll have a place in Tucson or Phoenix because the Southwest runs in your blood. And you know that, ChatGPT?
Yes,
I am a son of the Sonoran Desert.
Yeah.
I love it.
Desert rat.
Yeah, but you'll also be traveling for festivals, speaking gigs, or just get into trouble in other time zones. All right, and say, and then it concludes. It's not even done, dude.
Wow, he's
Yeah.
very sweet.
Oh my God, I could have asked it to it. And real talk, whether or not fame in the mainstream sense ever happens, you'll have a cult following, a fiercely loyal one, the kind that wears your quotes on T-shirts and tells their friends, "You don't know beef vegan, you're missing out."
Wow.
Amazing, right?
Mhm.
And then it asked me if it wants to write my Wikipedia intro from the year 2035.
Wait.
Yes, it does.
It does?
Yes,
That's legit.
it's legit. I didn't get to that, but then I did ask. What the other prompt was?
Yeah. Make a photo of me, how you see me in the future, like no sugarcoating.
You want to see that photo?
I do. I'm dying to see it.
And you'll be able to see. You guys will be able to see it as well on the podcast broadcast later. That
looks
where it
like
sees
Louis
me.
C.K.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna look like Louis C.K. That's just how it happens. You know, chubby, doughy white guys with insecurities and weird fetishes. You know?
Wow. That's true. But I like your cup. Radio's last real one.
Yeah, look at that. All right,
The
so
accuracy.
all right, you'll be able to see that image on the podcast broadcast, which will have Yaz Money and Herb Stratford in today. So make sure you stick around for that. But yeah, it is mind-blowing, really strange and weird. And I'll write that, or I'll have it write the Wikipedia intro from 2035. I'll share that in the podcast broadcast as well. But there you go. That prompt seriously is crazy. And my number one listener is not Manny, which I love very
Oh, we
intensely.
love him.
Apparently, ChatGPT took that honor. So, step it up, Manny, huh?
Jim, this
All right, we're back here. Let me get this all situated for the man, Herb Stratford. The man,
legend.
the myth, the legend.
I loved your photos, though. Thank you. I've shown them to like so many people.
What photos?
He sent me some photos.
Oh,
We're buddies.
okay. Oh no, yeah, no, I got the photos too. Yes. Yeah, Charlie. Yes. So it was. I'm not jealous. I'm like, you're not the only one. We're equally friends with Herb Stratford. Thank you very much.
I'm
Hey,
a better
Mari,
friend.
Mari shares passwords with me. Man.
I do.
Oh yeah, I know.
do.
No, that's close. That's a good bond. Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, I share bank account information with you, or at least I steal your bank account information. Same difference.
Unknowing, yes.
Yeah. All right, so you had a good week here, Herb?
Yeah. No, just plugging away, watching a lot of content. I'm actually headed to Vegas this next week, and gonna go check out the Wizard of Oz at the Sphere, and I'm gonna go. This is gonna date me, but gonna go see Tears for Fears. So.
Nice. Yeah, that's classic. That holds up, for sure. In fact,
Love him.
actually, and I've been a huge fan of Monster. So you know what I want to do is I do want to play your interview with Charlie Hunnam right now. So
I want to see that.
Yes, absolutely. And he's appropriately sized. I'm talking about Herb Stratford. He does. So
I will never live that
You
down.
no, you will not, dude. No, you
No,
will not. That was
unfortunately.
embarrassing. All right, let's check out Herb's interview with Charlie Hunnam talking about Monster, the Ed Gaines story. Check this
Herb
out.
Stratford, KMSB Fox 11 Tucson. All right. So, Charlie, let's just start with, I was blown away by how this piece really creates a 3D vision of Ed, and how it's not just sort of the surface two-dimensional thing that we've seen so many times before. Is that something that drew you to the project? Was that depth of character?
Yeah, I mean, I'd had the benefit of seeing the past 2 seasons of Monster, Dharma, and Menendez Brothers. And from my initial conversation with Ryan, I understood that he was not only trying to have a very human and three-dimensional exploration of who Ed was, but also the impact that what led Ed on the journey that he'd been on, which were some of the, him trying to understand some of the atrocities that came out of the Second World War, but then all of the consequence of the inspiration for the films that had been made about him, in Psycho and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and the cultural impact that they had. And then I thought that Ryan does something really sort of subtle and interesting, and then turns the camera on himself and says, asks a question why he's telling these stories and what part he plays in this, and then turns the camera on the audience and says, why are you watching this? And so it just felt like a very smart, sophisticated way to tell the story. And I really honest way, in the tradition of storytelling, trying to actually illuminate as to what were the basis of these crimes, as opposed to just a sensationalization of the crimes themselves.
And so I know you get asked this a lot, but the voice is so central to the character that you've created. And I know you did research on that, but it's really not a direct impression.
No.
It's based on a lot of different things. Maybe talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, the tapes, there's only one interview of Ed Gein, which was conducted the night after he was arrested. And those tapes were never released because they'd failed to read him his Miranda rights, and he'd also been beaten up while he was in custody. Plus, he wasn't able to stand trial because he was deemed mentally unfit. So they were very hard to get, those tapes. I finally got my hands on them, but way too late in terms of taking too much inspiration. And so that voice came out of my understanding or perception of Ed. I knew from my research that he had what the local people described as a sort of a very effeminate disposition, but I didn't really want to instantiate that in a sort of a physical way. I thought there was something more interesting in understanding that his only relationship he ever had with his mother, he adored her. All he wanted was her love and acceptance, and yet she told him every day that she hated him because he wasn't born a daughter. So I thought that there was something interesting about that manifesting in his desire to be what he thought his mum wanted him to be and to get that love and acceptance. But also I liked that it sort of felt kind of artificial, that it felt like there was some disconnect between his sound and who he was that sort of spoke to the fractured nature of his mind.
So let's talk real quickly too about, you inhabited this character in such a powerful way. Was it hard to shake? Like, at the end of the day, pardon the pun, but was it hard to get out of Ed's skin?
How dare you be so punny? You know what? I went into this with some pretty clear boundaries in place that I ended up actually forgetting about, because it didn't end up being, because I'd understood him, it sort of demystified and took some of the darkness out of it for me. But I was very conscious going into it that I wasn't going to allow this to wreck my mental health. And so one of the things that I did was just be very conscious about leaving it when it was finished. And so we were shooting in Chicago. I stayed on it maybe 7 or 8 days after, and just tried to get back into my body. And the last thing I did was drive up to Wisconsin to visit Ed's grave and just say to myself and to him, say what needed to be said. I don't know if I was talking to myself or I was talking to him, but I just said that I hoped that we had told this story accurately and with truth. And that I was now going to go on my journey and he wasn't going to come with me.
All right, so that was the interview, and look, I understand that you couldn't hear that well. I cranked it to 11. I did everything I could to fix the audio there. That was the clip. They were soft talking. If I turned it, if I increased the volume anymore, you probably would be able to hear Herb audibly get a boner during that conversation.
Oh my God.
I know, but I couldn't do that. So for the sake of the FCC, and
if you can't hear it, go to Arts and Culture Guy on YouTube and watch the interview there.
yeah, exactly. It was a great interview.
Yeah, it was fun.
Herb made
Thank
him
you.
laugh, and honestly, I've been watching the Ed Gein story, and I think it's fantastic. So good interview and great performance, Charlie Hunnam, and he was a super sweet dude, right?
Yes, he was. He was awesome. Took a selfie with me, just a super nice guy. You only have 4 minutes with these folks. And actually, when we finished our segment, he started to tell me a story, and we stood there for another 3 minutes while he told me a story about driving through the desert with his dad.
Oh,
so,
nice.
I mean, he was, and he said,
Because you told him you're from Tucson?
yeah. And I said, and he said, oh, he's like, I wish we had more time. I mean, he was just like super nice. Like most times people are just like, get out.
Right.
Your
yeah.
4 minutes are over. So yeah, he was very cool.
Yeah, and you should have saw. I was hoping. It's too bad I can't when we're watching this clip, because we just watched a clip. We're back on Rock 102.1 KFMA, by the way. I just watched a clip of a Herb interviewing Charlie Hunnam for the Ed Gein story Monster that just released on Netflix. I wish I could have filmed Mari's engagement watching that clip. Yeah, and her face. I was gonna try to pull it up, but she would have saw that I was going to out her face for that, and so I couldn't. But it was like,
Oh yeah, enthralled. I love him.
I know. So do I. And honestly, I'm more impressed with his performance in Monster. It really was good. But of course, we do have a film critic, Herb Stratford, joining us here today, as per usual on Fridays, talking about new movie releases, what we should go see. Let's talk about a new Keanu Reeves movie, Came out nowhere for me, but this seems awesome. Also stars Aziz Ansari. I'm talking about Good Fortune. Tell me everything you know about Good Fortune there, Herb.
So saw this yesterday. It actually really surprised me. I'm like you. This one snuck up on me. Hadn't heard a lot about it. It's written, directed, and starring Aziz Ansari.
Okay, well,
Okay.
see, dude, I honestly, Aziz is super talented, so
Yeah.
this got to be awesome, right?
Yeah, no, and so basically the story is Keanu Reeves is sort of a dim guardian angel. So think Bill and Ted, not John Wick. Okay.
Okay.
And his job is to stop people who are texting and driving from dying.
Oh, wow.
All right. And he's like, okay, I want to do something more. And Sandra Oh, who is his sort of angel boss, she's like, you're not ready. He's like, I want to do it. He happens to see Aziz Ansari, who is sort of a gig worker, and he's struggling. He's sleeping in his car. He's got 3 different jobs. And he sort of starts following him and thinking, oh, I can help this guy. And Aziz gets a job being the assistant to Seth Rogen, who is a total tech bro. And basically, then things go south, and Keanu steps in and decides to try and fix everything. And of course, he screws everything up.
Right.
So, I mean, think about angel movies like Heaven Can Wait and Wings of Desire and, just all these movies that always have sort of angels. It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes.
So it's very, very funny. We have some sort of, people get swapped into their roles and realize. So it's sort of a commentary on the way it is in America right now, right?
Right,
Not
yeah.
too heavy handed, but it's hard to make ends meet. Things are expensive and certain people have a lot more than other people.
Yeah,
So-
the gig economy is real.
Yeah, and Seth Rogen is great. Keanu, everybody is really great in this. It's just a lot of fun. It's at 79% on Rotten Tomatoes. Definitely worth a laugh, and just a great cast. And I think Aziz has got a future beyond stand-up and TV. He can do movies.
Yeah, and I was so bummed when he almost lost his career over the whole Me Too allegations, because his, out of everyone, was so tame in comparison, right?
Yeah.
And of misunderstandings.
It's a bad
but-
date.
Yes,
I
it was a
know.
bad date, right? But he seemed like, and we learned a lot. It seemed like he was doing everything he had to do it. But Aziz has always been a hilarious, unique voice and comedian with a unique upbringing of being from the South and being raised by Indian parents and having that kind of like that culture and the upbringing, and so such a unique perspective, and always very charismatic and funny. And for him to star and direct in a film that has an all-star cast like Seth Rogen,
Yeah.
and Keanu Reeves,
Yeah.
you're talking like a good feel-good movie.
Yeah.
That's
it
gonna
is.
be funny. Yeah,
It is. It very much is. And it's hard because so much stuff that's out now is very serious drama for the awards season. So it's great to see a little breath of fresh air, something funny. And Aziz, like you said, he's just like, he seems like a stand-up guy. I love that he's got a different perspective. He's just not another comedian. He's got different, interesting, because of where his heritage is. And it's a solid film.
What a weird state we are in too, as far as like promoting of movies, because we've been saying, hey, the movie industry has been struggling, right? We need special popcorn buckets just to get people out here. You got a movie that's starring Seth Rogen and Keanu Reeves and Aziz Ansari, which is out today, and I found out about it 10 minutes ago. They got to step up their marketing campaign,
They're
man.
not doing it.
They're just
Agreed.
not doing it. They're not doing whatever they're doing it wrong, right? But Good Fortune, out theaters everywhere. If you're looking for a good time, this seems to be a guaranteed, a good time.
Yes.
So, all right, excellent. Herb Stratford, he's got more movie reviews that he's going to share with us here on Beef Vegan Presents. So keep it right here, or join us on the podcast broadcast, Rock 102.1 KFMA. All right, so, clear. Okay. Sometimes I get confused with what I'm doing because I'm recording 3 things at once.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get it. But
I know.
yeah,
I know what you're doing.
yeah, I'll edit it.
We're
up
here to
later.
support.
Yes,
Yeah.
we are.
Thank you. You guys are great support.
You didn't meet Jacob Elordi, though?
He met him, but he didn't get to interact with him.
I didn't get to do an interview. I tried.
Was he super tall?
That
Is he
dude
your
is
height?
so tall.
Is he taller than you?
Oh yeah, he's 6'7".
Wait,
6'7".
what?
Yeah.
6'7". He said 6'7".
Yeah, he did.
6'7". You're so hip, Herb Stratford.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
it's
you
true.
are.
It's true. Yeah, he's a big guy, and it's interesting because we can't really talk about Frankenstein, but when we can talk about it, we'll talk about it. He's sort of perfect for Frankenstein because Oscar Isaac is short, and then you add a big Jacob Elordi.
Oh, and just towers over him.
Yeah, and I mean, and he's a very handsome man.
Oh, yes, he is.
He is really. You can see why the ladies like
in
Jacob.
person, and
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
okay. So, and I know that you're hetero, but did it move a little bit?
Oh my God.
Not gonna comment.
No comments. Smart.
That's a soft yes.
Oh, God.
It doesn't make you gay. It doesn't make you gay to be like, hey, that's a beautiful man right there. Okay. I mean, he's large. He could probably pin me down. Okay, that's enough.
And
of
scene.
that. All right. All right. There's so many things coming out this weekend. Let's talk about a movie that's starring another legendary actress here. But one who hasn't necessarily been hitting on all cylinders recently, Julia Roberts, right?
Yes. So, as we've said, this is the fall. So this is when you start getting awards movies. And so this one played big at Telluride, Venice, Toronto, all the fall film festivals. It's finally coming out. It's called After the Hunt. And this is from Italian director Luca Guadagnino. Guadino, I don't know, I can't say his name. Anyway, and he did Call Me by Your Name. He's done a lot of other movies. So basically, the story here is Julia Roberts and Andrew Garfield are philosophy professors at Yale.
Ooh.
Okay, and Ao Edeberry, who of course is from The Bear.
Yeah.
She is one of their star PhD students. Actually, Julia is married to Michael Stahlberg there, who I love. And something happens. There's a sexual assault that takes place. Andrew Garfield on Ao, and it sort of brings up all kinds of issues of sort of loyalty and buried secrets and Julia Roberts' past and what's going to happen because Yale is sort of this bubble, right? Of sort of spoiled rich white kids.
Yeah.
And Ao's parents are apparently very wealthy and they give to the university. And so there's all these sort of things at play. Andrew Garfield has a really bad temper. So it's very interesting to see him as somebody he's sort of a player, as he would be. He's a handsome guy.
Okay.
And so anyway, it's sort of the unraveling of all this. It's very low on Rotten Tomatoes right now, which is interesting. It's only at 38%, which I think it's better than that. But I think it's just that it's a very talky sort of award season movie. Julia Roberts is fantastic in it. I think she's going to be nominated for an Academy Award. She's that good.
Okay.
And that's because she's given this incredible script where she starts from a position of power and she sort of gets brought low, right? Because of decisions she makes. Chloe Sevigny is also in this film.
Oh, I'm glad to see her back working.
So it's a great cast. But it's definitely sort of a downer.
All right, yeah.
Not good fortune.
Yeah, we went from good
comedy.
fortune to feel good comedy of the month and
into a serious drama.
Yeah, you want to erase all the dopamine that was just rushed into your brain from the last movie.
Yeah.
So we're not going to Barbenheimer this one, huh?
No, I don't think so.
Fair enough. That's After the Hunt stars Julia Roberts, and it's aiming for awards. And you can check it out in theaters everywhere. All right, so they got that. After the Hunt. Yeah, I'm like, oh, look at what am I not going to watch this weekend? Bam. The reality is I'm not going to be able to see any of them, unfortunately, because I'll be working the Roadrunners games. But yeah, I gotta catch some movies. I didn't see Smashing Machine, but no one else in America did either. So I haven't.
It'll be streaming soon.
So soon. Tron bombed so hard.
Well, it did, but it didn't.
Oh.
When you actually look at it, in terms of Rotten Tomatoes scores, this is the highest of any of the Tron movies.
Really?
Which is interesting. And no, it didn't make a blockbuster, but let's be realistic. The other two movies didn't either. It's a niche thing. And really, if you think about it too, this only came into being because Jared Leto paid for most of it.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah, he financed the majority of it.
And unfortunately, it may have effectively killed his career. Here's a report that I came across from the Hollywood Reporter, okay? And this is the headline first. Box office bomb reportedly results in Disney killing Tron franchise, right? The death of the franchise was financed by Jared Leto, which is not good because I've been coming across headlines where they're talking about Jared Leto's movie career is over, his big paydays of yesteryear over. He'll be a supporting actor and then mostly touring musician. So they said in this reports now say that this high-tech dud might just spell the end of Jared Leto's hefty paydays, and that may studios have stepped away from viewing Leto as a leading man material. In addition, this will likely mark the end of Tron as a franchise, especially considering that no one really ever was screaming for a third film to begin with, except for Herb Stratford.
And my son.
Yeah. Tron Ares reportedly costs at least $180 million to make and has yet to break the $37 million mark in the domestic box office.
Yikes.
I got to tell you though, I loved it. I had I had a stupid grin on my face the whole time. But like I saw the first one in '82 when I was a kid, and I loved it. So for me,
Nostalgia.
I'm there, right? Yeah, there's definitely nostalgia. But I get it. But it's nice to see Tron on a big screen with big budget effects. And if this is all we get, well, that's all we get. At least
That's all
we
you
got
get.
this.
Yeah. I mean, you had it for 40 years. I mean, how
Yeah,
much more
that's
do you
right.
want it? Yeah.
That's right.
But interesting though. I think it's kind of unfair. I mean, Jared was obviously in the same mindset, saying, "Hey, this IP was great enough that it deserves to get a third one." But that's sometimes the problem with passion projects, and in putting your money where your mouth is. Sometimes your mouth has to cash that check and main vein.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It all goes back to the main vein.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're gonna be okay, I know I'm a creep. But yeah, that's brutal. A movie that you didn't see is Black Phone 2, but it is, since it is spooky season.
Yeah.
And we just did this list, right?
Yeah.
Where we shared the scariest films according to science, and
Okay.
Sinister topped the list.
Really?
Yeah, based off of like the pulse, heart rate, and of
Okay.
course Ethan Hawke starred in that.
Yeah.
Black Phone's pretty scary movie. Ethan Hawke was in that, and it looks like he's returning for Black Phone 2. What do you know about it?
He is, and this is at 74%, so it's got a pretty good return. I think the thing about Black Phone that's interesting is two things. One, I don't think they expected a lot out of it. Right? It was sort of a smaller film. They didn't really talk much about it. And number two, Ethan Hawke is a bad guy. He just doesn't do that. Now, I will also say there's 2 more Ethan Hawke movies coming out, I think. At least one is called Blue Moon, and it's a period piece about the release of Oklahoma and other things. Anyway, but this, and it's sort of this, and this movie, Black Phone 1, sort of finished up. You know what I mean? It sort of tied a bow on it. And it was sort of a standalone thing. But of course, if there's money to be made, they're going to be back. So, basically it's, more visions and more, sort of victims trying to help somebody, and they're trying to figure something out. They end up going up to this camp to try and figure out what's going on. And, is Ethan Hawke back? And, yes, he is. You've seen the trailer. But, obviously, if you haven't seen the first one, there's no point in seeing this. But if you love the first one, sure, go check it out.
Yeah, I remember the first one. It was pretty good. It's interesting that Ethan Hawke has an affinity for horror films, and being in the number one rated horror film according to science, so he has a talent for that and a vision. And it's all. I like Ethan Hawke for many reasons. The guy takes cinema seriously and storytelling seriously, and he likes to have range, and and to continue to dip his toes in the kind of like thriller horror genre, and then be able to go back in other things is respectable. I mean, he's master of his craft. He's very good.
He is.
Yeah, and with someone with like a teeth like his, you got to be extra talented. You know what I mean? Because you got to kind of snaggle tooth and stuff.
Does
And
he? No, he doesn't.
yeah, I think he does. I think he's
No.
always had that. Right?
No.
He's got a unique smile.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
That does not stand out to me.
okay, Google it.
I will. I'll Google.
Black Phone 2 in theaters everywhere. All right, let's talk about this list before we get into your other things here. I know, I don't know why I had to go there, and I'm not hating on him, but he has like a tooth. Doesn't he have a tooth that like sticks out prominently like over here? And you're like,
gosh, how do you even know that?
because I watch him talk, dude. I'm a fan of Ethan Hawke. Training Day was the shit. I've been a fan of Ethan Hawke.
Training
at
Day
least he
was
has
great.
real teeth. It's those veneers I think look terrible on
Yeah.
people.
No, he
especially
keeps it real.
celebrities.
The dude keeps it real.
He does.
He does.
all the
He
way
does.
through.
Yep.
Yeah. He was also
I
in the first
see what
Purge
you
movie.
mean.
And he was married to Uma Thurman, right?
have a baby, Maya Hawke,
That's
right?
right. That's right. He's sort of Hollywood royalty.
David said, random, but my son only learned about Black Phone because Ethan's character is on Fortnite.
Oh, funny.
So that is funny. All right, so I came across this list, Herb Stratford, and I feel like you'd be good at this. What do you think the greatest vampire movie of all time is? I do have a list from Parade.com. They put together the best vampire movies all time ranked. So what do you think the number one vampire movie of all time is?
Well, I mean, as a cinephile, I'm going to say the original Nosferatu.
Really?
Just because it was so groundbreaking, and with the color washes, and and it just freaked people out. Like,
And
it gave them nightmares.
It starred what could quite possibly be like a real vampire.
Yeah.
That's the legend.
true.
Legend
Yeah.
has it. And they continue to tell the story of Nosferatu.
Yeah.
And you're right. That's what they say is the greatest vampire movie of all time.
Oh, that's number
Nosferatu, A Symphony of Horror, released when Herb was only 4 in 1922. 1922.
If you haven't seen it, it's really brilliant, honestly. It's an amazing thing. But I will also say, part of me, the pop culture part of me, really loves Bram Stoker's Dracula from Francis Ford Coppola with Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder. And I mean,
Brad Pitt.
Even though it's sort of goofy, it's so well done. The costumes are amazing. Gary Oldman is terrifying as Count Dracula.
Yes.
So,
and that came in at number 9.
Oh,
Yeah,
right,
so that makes the list. Other notable vampire movies that made this list the top 10. Only Lovers Left Alive was released in 2014.
Yep.
That came in at number 10. Blade 2, number 8.
Yeah. I go with that.
The original Blade didn't make the top 10.
Just Blade 2.
Yeah, just Blade 2. What made Blade 2 so much better? You don't know?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not Blade 3.
That's true. Near Dark, what came out in 1987. That was ranked number 7. Sinners, coming out, which came out in 2025. In fact, there's a lot of people are going to be dressing up like Sinners characters this Halloween.
Yeah.
They're very prominent in Spirit Halloween. That's number 6. Nosferatu the Vampire, which is kind of like a remake of sorts, released in 1979, came in number 5. Dracula, that came out in 1931, was number 4. And then the Spanish version from Universal came in at number 3, Dracula. Yeah.
Okay, what's 2?
Let the Right One In.
Oh, that's a good one.
Wow, so no Interview with a Vampire, though.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Let the Right One In is pretty darn good. That's a good one.
Yeah. So
what
there's
about Lost Boys, too?
Yeah, Lost Boys came in number 26. Interview with Vampire came in number 18. And Twilight should not even be mentioned in this list.
Is it on the list?
It is, but it should not be mentioned.
No.
No.
All right, so we're back. Rock on 2.1 KFMA. We got Herb Stratford in studio. We just went through the greatest vampire movie list of all time according to Parade.com. And now let's talk documentaries, what's coming to our streaming services. We got a couple minutes here. So the first one, I'm excited about this. I've been seeing teasers about this documentary for a minute, but I don't have Apple Plus. So this might be actually they dropped the Plus. It's just Apple TV now.
That's right.
Oh.
This might be the documentary that gets me to sign up for Apple TV. And that's talking about Martin Scorsese.
So this is a really brilliant piece. It's 5 parts, so it's 5 hours. Just be ready. You don't have to watch it all at once, but it's called Mr. Scorsese, and it's really a sit down with him and all of his collaborators talking about his career, starting with Mean Streets, going all the way up to, they sort of give us a little bit of what happened with Killers of the Flower Moon, but it was made right before that.
Do you think fans of Martin Scorsese are going to be concerned about a 5-hour runtime? You're talking about, you mean the short Scorsese film? Jesus.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
It's so great because I love the fact that we're doing this before he's dead. I mean, not to sound morbid, but the guy's in his mid-80s. And the idea that sometimes these kind of deep dives don't happen until someone has passed.
Right.
And so to be able to watch him talk about the creative process of Mean Streets, of Goodfellas, of The Departed, of The Gangs of New York, The Last Temptation of Christ, Silence. I mean, The Irishman. It's so great because it's not only him, but it's also film historians. It's his friends. It's some of the mob guys he grew up with, which is super interesting.
They're still alive, huh?
It's De Niro. It's DiCaprio. It's Daniel Day-Lewis. It's all the people talking about what it is to work with him, and it made me want to go back and watch every one of his movies again.
Ooh,
I mean, it's so powerful. He's so great. And we're so lucky to be sort of like around and he's had so many, he'll like be huge. Like Goodfellas was a giant hit. And then he makes a couple other movies and he's at the bottom of the list again.
Yeah.
And then he reinvents himself and makes something else. Everybody loves him. And then he falls off again. He's had such a fascinating career. And, the fact that he only won 1 Oscar, right, for The Departed.
That's crazy.
And it was given to him by Lucas, Spielberg, and Francis Ford Coppola. How cool is that they got to present Best Director to him who had deserved it so much?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because, so many, he tops the list of so many people's, favorite movie of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's Goodfellas, Casino, or, Raging Bull. I mean, he's so important part of American cinema history over the last 50 years.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's amazing. The Raging Bull section is really fascinating because they talk about how they set up all the scenes and all the sort of the over the top blood and gore and everything. And you forget, everybody thinks Tarantino's the only bloody filmmaker. Oh no.
Right.
Marty's got it, but it's in black and white.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, let's keep it to the theme of Apple TV and documentaries. Another one being released. This one directed by Ben Stiller, talking about his own family's legacy. I mean, his parents' love story and what they contributed to comedy. Stiller and Maria. Nothing is lost.
Yeah, so basically Ben Stiller's parents was Jerry Stiller, who you may know as George's father on Seinfeld.
Yep.
Right?
Mhm.
You know, Festivus.
Mhm.
And his mother, Ann Mira, and they were a stand-up act. They were on a lot of the sort of the late 50s, early 60s TV shows. They were sort of a, Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis sort of couple. They did a lot of comedy. They were very famous. And this is sort of Ben and his sister. They both now passed, his parents. And this is him and his sister sort of going through his parents' apartment and sort of revisiting their whole career and what it meant to be sort of children, Nepo baby, let's be honest.
Oh, yeah, big time.
But, and what that meant to him and sort of the industry and the way that comedy was. And then really a deep dive on, how their relationship, his parents' relationship, where Ann Mira was more of a serious actor, but Jerry was a comedian. And so she sort of sacrificed her serious roles to help him. And they were a great comedy act. And then they sort of, went their own ways professionally when he went on Seinfeld and she went back into the theater. It also touches a little bit, interestingly enough, on Ben's relationship with Christine Taylor, his now wife again. They were estranged for a while. They moved back in during COVID. So interesting that his parents went through some stuff and then he went through some stuff. A really fascinating sort of look at at comedy history. You see Christopher Walken there. I mean, all these people who worked with his parents are all on camera talking about his parents. And a lot of people don't know that his parents were famous comedians. They just think Ben Stiller, a funny guy.
Right.
So this is worth watching. There isn't a Rotten Tomatoes score. It's one of two docs this week about comedians. The other one is called Downey Wrote That, about Jim Downey, the famous Saturday Night Live writer who wrote probably 80% of your favorite skits on Saturday Night Live. So that's another one. That's on Peacock.
Excellent. Well, Herb Stratford, everybody. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have on the FM side. I got a couple minutes we'll do on the podcast because I want to talk to Herb about a documentary I watched as well. But that's it. We will see you this weekend because so much stuff is happening around the old Pueblo. Tucson Meet Yourself kicks off today, so you go and eat there. Also, your Tucson Roadrunners. The season home opener starts Saturday. I'll be hosting that game. Puck drops at 7. Red carpet event is at 4. And there's a game on Sunday as well. We'll be back Monday morning, same time, same place. Until then, enjoy the rest of your day. Drive safe, ride safe, and as always, rock local. Later. All right, speaking of documentaries, I just want to say I watched that John Candy documentary. Did you see that?
Yeah, I like me. Yeah.
Yes, but it was depressing. It was like an in memoriam. The tone of the entire thing was,
sad. It was just sad.
It was sad. And it's like, look, where's the celebration of life and legacy and career? There were so many highlights of John Candy and growing up. He was so instrumental in the 80s. He was huge. He matched his physical stature. It was sad. It was sad even to the point where he would say, because he'd be depressed about the way that media would treat him, because he'd be in interviews and be like, so, you're fat as fuck. What's that all about? And you're like,
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. You think about him, you think about Belushi, you think about what's his name from Saturday Night Live? The other
Bill Murray?
No.
Fat guy in a little coat.
Oh, Chris Farley.
Chris Farley. These guys, everybody loves a fat, funny guy.
Yeah.
And it's really sad because it's sort of insulting.
Yeah.
Very insulting, right?
When you're calling someone fat to their face? Yeah.
So, no, it's a very well done. Ryan Reynolds produced it. It's very well done, but you're right. The whole tone is just a sense of loss because he died too soon and he was never
43.
really appreciated.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I know. But I was like, there could have been aspects of it that could have been lighter, brighter, and celebratory of what he was able to do and how great he really was, as opposed to it was so depressing from beginning to end. I was waiting for it. It's like, you're talking about one of the funniest cinematic actors of a generation. Bring some funny.
Yeah.
Bring some of that, some of that joy in.
But it's worth a watch if you're a fan. So
yeah. I mean, they do a lot of clips, good, talking pieces, Bill Murray and everything else.
Yeah.
All right, that's all the time we have for the podcast. A lot of you guys are already taking off, enjoying your weekend. So thank you so much. We'll catch you on Flippity Flop. Babuski.